Welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball. It is the 22nd of June now in 1871. And Troy have got another home game that we're going to bring to you. It is the 7 and 10 Rockford Forest Citys, who are currently fourth in the division on games behind, third in win percentage, though, because of the difference of games played. And they are visiting the 4 and 12 Troy Haymakers in this National League matchup. And Troy 5.5 games back. They also Chicago is playing today, so if Rockford can win and Chicago loses, Rockford will pull not only just two, or two within 2 games of Chicago, but also 2 games of 500. That's where second place Fort Wayne Kekiungas currently stand. And if Troy do lose this game, they'll be sitting at 4 and 13. It'll be looking pretty much done and dusted for their season. Right. Let's go over your starting lineups for these two, starting with the visiting Rockford Forest Citys. Third baseman Cap Anson will lead things off. He's batting 386 with 10 RBIs this season. George Hall, the left fielder, bats second, 274 average, 13 RBIs, 3 home runs this season. Russ Barnes, the second baseman, bats third. He's got a 320 average with 9 RBIs so far this season. Lip Pike is the red-hot hitter. He bats fourth. The right fielder is the league leader in the net. He is the baseball leading hitter in home runs and RBIs. 5 home runs, 20 runs batted in. 346 is his average. Doug Allison, the catcher, bats fifth. He's batting 372. He's got 18 RBIs. He's up there towards the top of the RBI leaderboard. Joe Start, the first baseman, bats sixth. He's batting 319. He's got 7 RBIs. George Bird, center fielder, bats seventh. He's batting 286, 9 RBIs so far this season. George Wright will bat eighth. The shortstop is batting 232 with 5 RBIs. And then Dick McBride, the pitcher, will round it out. He is batting 328. He's also red hot. He's got 2 RBIs. We'll come back for the pitcher's mound matchups. Over on the Troy matchup, shortstop Jimmy Holland will lead things off. He's batting 243. He's got 3 RBIs so far this season. Bill Craver, second baseman, bats second. He's got 229 average with 5 RBIs. Ezra Sutton bats third. He's red hot. He's batting 347, 1 home run, 16 RBIs. Fred Tracy, the left fielder, bats fourth. Also 16 RBIs, but he's got 2 home runs. He's batting 347 as well. Jim Foran, the first baseman, bats fifth. He's batting 297. He's got 11 RBIs, 1 home run so far this season. Patty Quinn, the center fielder, will bat sixth. He's batting 169, 2 RBIs so far this season. He's on a bit of a cold streak as well. Clipper Flynn comes in at right field now. He's batting 204, 3 RBIs. Bill Lennon, the catcher, comes in the 8th spot. He's batting 250. He's got 10 RBIs. And Frank Norton, the pitcher, bats ninth. He's batting 278. He's got 2 RBIs so far this season. On the mound for Rockford is Dick McBride. He is 6 and 19 in 17 starts with 2 no decisions, a 2.6 ERA and a 1.22 WHIP. He is 3-0 versus Troy this season. He's got a 1.33 ERA against the Haymakers. For Troy, it'll be Frank Norton that steps up. Frank is currently 1-1 in 5 starts this season, with 3 no decisions. He is currently got a 1.74 ERA and a 1.74 WHIP. He has not recorded a win or a loss yet versus Rockford. It's his first start versus Rockford this season. It's a 2:05 first pitch start, 7:16 in attendance, rain in the forecast. It is 74 degrees out for those of you that use Celsius. That is, I believe, I want to say that's 23. Yeah, just about 23. Wind is blowing out to right field at 13 miles an hour. And here we go. Camp Anson settling in. Frank Norton on the mound to start. That is some red hot green tea, thank goodness. Oof. And we are ready for this opening pitch of this game. Rockford winning all 3 previous matches against Troy. Here's the first pitch to Cap Anson. That's inside, ball 1. The 1-0. That's in the dirt, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch. Grounded over to third. That is, we're going to start with an error. Cap Anson's aboard on an E5. It's Ezra Sutton that gets credited with the error. And that is the first base runner of the game. So Cap Anson is on base, and it'll be George Hall up next, the left fielder. Here's the first pitch to him. And that's bunted down. The throw over to first, that's in time, and it's a sac bunt that gets Anson over to second. And so runner on second, 1 out. Ross Barnes settling in. First pitch to Barnes. And that is off the plate away, 1-0. And that is a wild pitch that allows Anson to move just 90 feet away with only 1 out here. The 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's grounded to the backstop. It'll be 1-2. The 1-2. Grounded up towards short. The throw over to first. That's in time. But scoring on the play is Anson. And just like Washington started against Troy in their game just 2 days ago, Rockford will do the same. It's an RBI ground out. And Rockford have taken the early lead. It's 1-0. That'll bring up right fielder Lip Pike. Here's the first pitch to Pike. Off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Off the plate, 2-0. A 2-0 pitch. Below the knees, 3-0, and Norton's in a hole here. 3-0, here's the pitch. Inside, ball 4, and Pike has been walked on a 4-pitch walk. That's going to bring up Doug Allison, the catcher. Here's the first pitch. And he's lined this into right at the right fielder, though. And that will retire the side. No runs, I'm sorry, 1 run on no hits. And they leave 1 aboard. We go bottom first here in Troy. And it's 1-0 Rockford. We are going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. I just minimized OBS there for a second. I was like, whoops. Right. Bottom 7th in Troy. It's 1-0 Rockford. Just make sure I got the, yeah. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there we go. All right. Dick McBride takes the mound. Jimmy Holonen settles in. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's a called strike at the knees. 0-2. And here's the 0-2. And that is ripped into right, way back there. Right fielder's there to make the play. He does. And that'll be the first out of the inning. And he gave that a pretty good ride, it has to be said. Holonen did give that a pretty good ride, but it is going to find the fielder in Lip Pike out right, and that will be the first out. That brings up Bill Craver, second baseman. Here's Craver. First pitch to him, and he has flied that into left, and that is also pretty deep, but also playable for the left fielder. And that is gloved for the out. Just shy of a warning track, he makes the play. That brings up Ezra Sutton, third baseman. Sutton settles in. First pitch from McBride. He's grounded that foul. It'll be 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Off the plate inside, 1-1. The 1-1. Inside, ball 2. And it's 2-1. Here's the 2-2. Or the 2-1. That's a called strike. It's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Lined foul down the first base side. We go again at 2-2. That is grounded foul down the third base side again. It remains 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Below the knees, outside, ball 3. And here's the full count pitch. Grounded back up the middle, base hit. Ezra Sutton's aboard with a single. That's going to bring up Fred Tracy. Here's the first pitch to Tracy. Runner over, throw over to first. Runner is back in time. Throw over to first. And the runner is back safe. First pitch is a called strike. Throw to second. Not in time. Ezra Sutton has stolen second base. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Where did that miss? That's 1-1. The 1-1 called strike 2, and it's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's grounded into this, or that's fouled into the seats. It'll be 1-2 still. The 1-2 pitch. That is low, 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Popped into, flied into center, playable. And the center fielder's there. He makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs on one hit. They leave one on base. We go top second. Rockford have 0-1 nothing lead. 2 up first for the Rockford Forest Citys. What? 2 up first for the Rockford Forest Citys will be first baseman Joe Start. Here's the first pitch to Start. And he's lined that back up the middle, base hit. And Start is aboard. Here's George Bird, center fielder. First pitch to Bird. And he bunched that down. They go over to first. That is going to get the runner over. So Start goes to second. It's a sack 1-3. And Bird is retired. Here's shortstop George Wright. First pitch to Wright. That is right down Broad Street for a strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's high, 1-1. The 1-1. Off the plate, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. That is low, ball 3, and George Wright's got a hitter's count here with a runner on. 3-1 pitch. Fouled it to the backstop. It is 3-2. 3-2 pitch. Popped it up in the infield. Shortstop's there. He makes the grab, and Wright is retired. That's going to bring up Dick McBride, the pitcher. Here's the first pitch to him. And that is going to get by the catcher. That is a wild pitch. And Start grabs third base for free. 90 feet away now. A single brings him home. Here is the 1-0. Grounded over to first, and that is, they're going to credit that as an error. I don't think that is. I think that's hit well enough. It should be a single, but the official scorer is going to say that is an E3 error on the first baseman. That's Jim Foran credited with it. Coming home to score is Joe Start on the play, and Rockford have doubled their advantage. It's 2-0. That brings up Cap Anson. He reached via an error his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to Anson. And he takes that low, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That's fouled into the seats. It'll be 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Lined right at the great jumping catch from the shortstop. And that retires the side. 1 run on 1 hit. They leave 1 aboard. We go bottom second. Rockford have a 2-0 advantage. 2 up first for the Troy Haymakers is first baseman Jim Foran. We're going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. It is bottom second here in Troy. Rockford's tacked across the run in both tops of the 2 innings so far. And Rockford looking for an answer. Jim Foran will lead things off. First pitch to him. Grounded over to second. That's going to be on to first easily in time. And Foran's retired. That'll bring up Patty Quinn. He's a bit of a cold hitter. He's had 12 at-bats versus McBride so far this season, yet to record a hit. Here's the first pitch, and that's high, ball one. Here's the 1-0. And he's grounded out to the backstop. It is 1-2. I'm sorry, it's 1-1. 1-1. Beg your pardon. Getting ahead of myself. Here's the 1-1. That's a called strike at the lettering, and now it's 1-2. Here's the 1-2. He's grounded that foul to the backstop. It's 1-2. Sorry about banging the back of the mic against the drawer of the desk. Here's the 1-2. That's grounded foul down the third base side. It stays 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Inside, ball two. The 2-2. Grounded to the backstop. Still 2-2. Here's the 2-2. And he's popped this up. That's drifting foul. Is it going to land foul? Yes, it will. We'll go again. The 8th pitch of this at bat. That's high, ball three. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled down the third base side. The 10th pitch of the at-bat here. And he's lined this into right. And that drifts foul, and we go again. Here's the 3-2. Chop foul, he stays alive. 3-2 again. And he's popped this one up. This time it's finally playable. Shortstop's right there, and he makes the grab. And finally, Patty Quinn, after a solid outing, a solid at-bat, is retired. Wow, what an end from Chelsea. What's up, Sooth? Welcome back. Yeah, I saw that they scored right at the death. That's going to bring up Clipper Flynn, the right fielder. Here's the first pitch to him. And he takes that in the dirt, 1-0. Was it a good goal? I haven't seen any of the goal. Here's the 1-0. That's a called strike. It's 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Off the plate away, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Grounded through the gap in right base hit. Clipper Flynn's aboard. He's got himself a single. There's 1-on with 2 out here. That'll bring up Bill Lennon, the catcher. Here's the first pitch to Lennon. That's popped up into left, right at the left fielder, and he makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs on one hit. They leave one on base. We go top third. Rockford have a 2-0 lead. Leggy with third touch from in front of line. Oh, okay. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys is left fielder George Hall. Appreciate the lurk, Aldi. Right. Third inning, we finally have our new sponsor. Aldi is a fantastic football manager streamer who's playing FM24, who's live right now. Give him a follow if you haven't already. He is a Albanian FM streamer. The great Aldi is our sponsor for this third inning. Right, here's the first pitch too. George Hall. Inside ball one. 1-0. Off the plate away, 2-0. The 2-0. Called strike. It's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And that's grounded foul down the third base side. It'll be 2-2. You're welcome, Aldi. Anytime, man. Anytime. Here's the 2-2. Inside ball three. 3-2 pitch. That is below the knees. Ball four. And George Hall's aboard on a leadoff walk. It's going to bring up Frank Norton. I'm sorry, it's going to bring up Ross Barnes. Barnes had an RBI ground out his last at bat. Here's the first pitch from Frank Norton. And he's chopped that foul to the backstop. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Called, strike two at the knees, then it's 0-2. The 0-2. Off the plate away, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. That's popped up into right, and that drifts foul, that lands foul. We do it again at 1-2. The 1-2. Inside ball two. The 2-2 pitch. Outside ball three, and that gets past. It's a wild pitch, which means George Hall will take second base for free. Runner in scoring position, nobody out. Here's the 2-2. Or the 3-2, I should say. And ball four. And it's back-to-back walks here in the third. That brings up Lip Pike. He walked his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to him. Swung on and missed. That's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Inside. Ball one. That's 1-1. Here's the 1-1. That's lined into left, and that's going to be a base hit. That gets down. The throw comes into third. George Hall is in there safely. Barnes goes to second, and Lip Pike's got himself a single. The bases are loaded now with nobody out. That brings up Doug Allison. Here's the first pitch to Doug Allison. He's ripped that into left, base hit. That's going to be runs. Allison has the RBI single. Coming in to score is Hall. Barnes goes to third. Pike gets to second. And it's 3-0 Rockford. That'll bring up Joe Start. He singled his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Start. He's going to take that right down Broad Street for a strike. Here's the 0-1. And he's grounded that over the third. On to second. Oh, no, it's a bad throw by the third baseman. Oh, that's not good. So it's an E5. Barnes scores. Pike goes to third. Allison gets the second. Start goes to first. And it's 4-0 Rockford. That was a chance to turn two. And they threw that away. That'll bring up George Bird. Here's the first pitch to Bird. That's a called strike on the inside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Off the plate inside, 1-1. The 1-1. That's lined into right and foul. It'll be 1-2. The 1-2. That's lined into right, fair ball. It's a base hit. He's going for third. Is the throw going to be in time? Safe at third, and it's a bases clearing 3 RBI triple from George Bird. Pike scores, Allison scores, Start scores, and George Bird has got himself a triple, and this game has been blown open. It's 7-0. That brings up George Wright. He popped up to the shortstop at last at bat. Here's the first pitch. Grounded over to the shortstop. On to first. That's in time, but it's an RBI ground out. Scoring on the play is George Bird. That makes it 8-0 Rockford. Dick McBride due up next. He reached via an error his last at bat. Here's the first pitch. Check swing, but it's in there for a called strike anyway. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Off the plate away, 1-1. Zegon Hayes. What's up, my man? How are you? Happy Sunday to you, man. Here's the 1-1. Inside, ball 2. The 2-1 pitch. Loud Viking horns. That's off the plate inside, 3-1. What's up, FGS? Oh, and you rated.
I owe allegiance to no entity. I intend to live by my own code now.
What's up, FGS? How was your stream, man? I apologize over Liverpool, my man. You hate to see that happen, bro. I'm sorry you went through that. Here's the 3-1. It's all good. That's inside, ball 4. And Frank Norton has walked the opposing pitcher, Dick McBride. Right, if you guys are new here, welcome in. We're playing out of the park baseball today, which is an awesome, it's FM for baseball. We are in the 22nd of June in the year 1871. It is the very first year of professional baseball in the United States. The 7-10 Rockford Forest Citys have traveled from Rockford, Illinois to Troy, New York to play the Troy Haymakers, who are sitting at 4-11. And that's the game we have for you today. W. Ray, what's up, Scheme? W. Ray, what's up? Saw Liverpool draw and talked about my trip in China. So, I was live before you went live. So, I am going to definitely catch the VOD about the trip in China, because China's actually like an incredible place. It's actually an amazing place. You just can't use any Western social media over there. But the people are great. The cities are great. You know what I mean? Like, it's a pretty awesome place. So. Unless you have to get a VPN. But my point is, like, that's like, you shouldn't have to. It sucks. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get it. What's up? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. What is Oh, nice. Cello messaged me. He's done in India. He's doing a TLS in India. What does that mean? Loves China? Well, I'm a big proponent in that there's things each society does that are good, and there's things that each society does that need improving. And I feel like there's some examples of how there's some, like, China's a really good example of that. You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that China does that are so much more efficient that would work over here as well, that maybe the U.S. should look at implementing. And there's also things like, but that's the way in any society. That's the way in any society. I could point to Japan and say the same thing. I could point to Korea and say the same thing. I could point to Denmark and Ireland and anything and say the same thing. So, but yeah, it's a fun place. Everyone I know that's gone has said it's been amazing. So, and I have a friend that visits. I have a few friends that have visited there in the last few years as well. So, but I'm definitely going to catch that VOD of yours because I want to see what the China trip was all about, man. I'm glad you went. Here's the first pitch. This is Cap Anson who's settling in, by the way. Runner on first, one out. First pitch to Anson. And he's ripped that into left field. That's a base hit, and we have batted around the order here in the third. Going to second base. Oh, it's an error on the outfielder as well. It's a handling error on an E7. So left fielder Fred Tracy gets credited with an error. It's the third error. It's the fourth error. Where was it? What was the I have an E5, E3, E5. E5 is third base. Oh yeah, Sutton made 2 errors. So it's the fourth error for Troy in the game, and it's second and third with 2 outs, and we've batted around the order. That's going to bring up George Hall. Hall has a walk and a sac bunt. Here's the first pitch to Hall. And that is ripped right at the first baseman. That'll be the first out of the inning. Or the second out. Sorry, that's the second out of the inning. Ross Barnes will settle in. He walked his last at bat. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and an RBI. Here's the first pitch to Barnes. And that's a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's grounded foul down the first base side, 1-1. The 1-1. High and away, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's below the knees, 3-1. 3-1 pitch. And he's walked him twice. He's walked him twice in the same inning. Well, Barnes is aboard. And that brings up Lip Pike. He singled earlier in this inning. Here's the first pitch to Lip Pike. And he has flied this into left. That's deep. That's playable. The left fielder has it. And the side is finally retired. 6 runs on 4 hits, and they leave 1 aboard. We go to the bottom of the third. 8-0. Rockford. Welcome in. Is that DC? I'm just going to say DCL, but welcome in. Hang on a second. Oh, I didn't mean to close that. God damn it. There we go. Well, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Right. Wow. Look at it. Look at those numbers. 8, 6, 7, 5. Right. As is at least our tradition, in the middle of the inning, we are going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom third in Troy. I just saw somebody, by the way, with the perfect team name, Putt Blugs. And I was like, I just had to laugh. Right. Bottom third. FGS, we do shout-outs at the top of the inning. So I got yours at the top of the fourth. And then Scheme, I got yours at the top of the fifth. Right. So just FYI, I'm not forgetting you, man. I don't want to look like or come off as if I'm a bruised host to you guys. So pitcher Frank Norton settles in. It'll be Dick McBride on the mound. First pitch to start this bottom of the third inning. And that's a called strike on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's way off the plate. Just a bit outside. That's 1-1. 1-1 is popped up in the infield. Shortstop's coming in for it. He'll make the play just behind the mound. And that's Norton retired. That'll bring up Jimmy Holland, and he flied out to right his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to Holland, and as we go back to the top of the order, and he's grounded that to the backstop, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's grounded foul down the first base side. It'll be 0-2 now. I don't know if you've been here for OOTP before first yet, but we are actually scoring the game. I do have a live scorebook here. I'm writing up as we do this, which is awesome. I love it. So here's the 0-2 to Holland. That's below the knees, 1-2. I know, it's so sick. I can go back and look at all the statistics and everything for all the games like in one book. I love it. I've yet to learn how to play OOTP. I'm bad. Rockford's the team I'm managing. We're 7-10, bro. I am not good. And I'm in 1871 as well, so there's no re-entry draft, there's no full Rule 5 draft, there's no waiver draft, there's none of that. You know? Here's the 1-2 to Holland. And that's grounded, or that's fouled into the seats. It's going to remain 1-2. There's also no rules against roids. You're right. Here's the 1-2. That's off the plate away. 2-2. Probably because there's no roids. Here's the 2-2. Off the plate away. 3-2. There wasn't even radio in this era. There wasn't even radio. If you wanted to know what happened at the baseball, you had to buy the paper the next day or go to the match. Here's the 3-2. That's grounded foul. It remains 3-2. There's no cars. Here's the 3-2 again. That's grounded back up the middle. Shortstop makes the play. It's a bad throw. That's a really bad throw. It is an E6. And it's a two-base error. It'll be shortstop George Wright getting credited with the error. But giant screen says, yeah, I know, right? Well, can't totally be accurate to the time, right? So Holland's aboard. 1 out. That'll bring up Bill Craver. He flat out the left his last at bat. Here's the first pitch from Craver, or to Craver. Check swing. They asked third. Safe. He didn't go. The throw goes over to third, and he's safe at third. And Jimmy Holland has stolen third base. The 1-0. That is a called strike right down Broad Street. 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Check swing. They asked first base, and the umpire there says he swung. So it'll count as a strike. It'll be 1-2. The 1-2. Grounded over to second. On to first. That's in time for the second out, but that is an RBI ground out as Hollenden will score. And Troy have got one back. It is 8-1. That'll bring up Ezra Sutton, singled in his last at-bat. Here's the first pitch to Sutton. Called, strike, and it's 0-1. The 0-1 inside, ball one. 1-1 pitch now. That's high, ball two. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Grounded over to third. The throw on to first. It's a bad throw from Anson. And it's another error, this time on the third baseman. That's Cap Anson who gets credited with it. And it's a runner on with 2 outs. That brings up Fred Tracy. He flied out to center his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Tracy. That's grounded over to first. Pitcher's over there. He covers the ground and makes the catch, and the side is retired. 3 runs on not a single hit, and they leave one on base. We go to the top of the fourth, and it is an 8-1 ball game. New ending means it's time for a new sponsor. Oh my God, stop. There we go. Right. First Goal Series is an awesome streamer who just got back from a trip in China. He does some Liverpool watch-alongs, a little bit of Football Manager. Give him a follow if you haven't already. He does some Time Guesser on stream as well. He's fantastic. First Goal Series is our sponsor for today's 4th inning. 8-1, Rockford have the lead. Doug Allison is the first man due up for Rockford. Frank Norton is still on the mound, but he is looking dead tired. Let's go, Rockford. All these players, by the way, FGS, these are all historical players. These are real-life players that played during the 1871 season. Here's the first pitch. It's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. I'm going to lurk for a bit. Going to watch a J drama. All right, sounds good, Bobby. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the lurk. Here's the 0-1 to Allison, who is 1 for 2 so far today. Oh, he's hit him. He's plunked him. And Allison is aboard on a hit by the pitch. That brings up Joe Start. He's 1 for 2. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He's lined that into left. Way back there, and the left fielder makes the play. And that is Start that's going to be retired. Here is the... that is going to be George Bird settling in. He had a 3 RBI triple in his last at-bat. He's 1 for 1 today. Here's the pitch to Bird. And he's lined this into right. That is foul. Here's the 0-1. And Bird has popped this up. That's drifting foul. And that will land foul. It'll be 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Inside, ball 1. 1-2 now. Here's the 1-2. That is in the dirt. 2-2. It's a wild pitch going to second for free. is Doug Allison, and now it's 2-2, runner on second, one out. Here's the pitch. Grounded over to short. They go on to first, and that's in time. And Bird is retired. 6-3 is the scorer's decision. And that'll bring up George Wright. Wright 0 for 2 with an RBI. Here's the first pitch to we got a pitching change. So Frank Norton lasts 3 2/3 innings? And Troy call on George Wright to take the mound. Wright is currently, they call on Harry Wright to take the mound. I just wrote George Wright. He's Harry Wright. Sorry. George Wright's the batter. Harry Wright's the pitcher. Totally forgot. Right. They call on Harry Wright to step in. Wright is 3 and 9 so far this season. He's got a 5.7 ERA through 96 1/3 innings pitched. First pitch from Harry Wright, and that is taken for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0, and that's lined into right base hit. George Wright's got himself a single. Stopping at third is Doug Allison, and now runners on the corners with 2 outs. That'll bring up Dick McBride. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Here's the first pitch from Harry Wright. That's in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Called strike 2, and it's 0-2 to Dick McBride. Here's the 0-2. He's fouled that off. It remains 0-2. The 0-2 inside, ball 1. 1-2 now. Here's the 1-2. He's grounded that to the backstop. It's still 1-2. The 1-2. That's popped up into left, and it lands foul. Love the stream, my guy. Going to head out with the missus for furniture shopping. All right. Ping me if you want to discuss China more or have questions. I'll watch the VOD and ping you. I'll watch the VOD tomorrow and ping you if I have questions, bro. Good luck with the furniture shopping, my guy. Thank you for the raid as well. Take care of yourself, man. Later, FGS. Here's the 1-2. That's popped up in foul territory. First baseman's over there. He makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs on 1 hit, and they leave 2 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's an 8-1 ball game. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Bottom fourth here in Troy. Rockford got an 8-1 lead. Jim Foran will be due up first here for Troy. He grounded out his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to him. And that is lined into right field, right at the right. He comes in, the right fielder, and he grabs it. And one pitch, one out here to start the fourth. That brings up Patty Quinn. He is really ice cold. He's not having it. He's really on a cold streak lately, I should say, Patty Quinn. In the last game, 2 days ago, Quinn went 1 for 4, and that was another loss for Troy. Here's the first pitch to him, and he's going to take that up and in for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. He's fouled that off. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Popped up. Drifting foul. That's going to land foul. We'll do it again. 1-2. The 1-2. That is lined in to left, but it drifts foul again. It'll be 1-2 still. 1-2 pitch. Check swing. He didn't go. It's low. 2-2. Here's the 2-2. That's chopped out. Stays 2-2. The 2-2. Inside, ball 3. And now it's a full count. Here's the payoff pitch. That's fouled into the seats when he remains alive. 2-2. Let's go, Pens. Here's the 3-2. That's grounded down the first base side. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that's 2 outs. Are the Penguins having a good season, Stuart? Right, that brings up Clipper Flynn. He singled his last at bat. First pitch to him. That's inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Check swing. They look at first. He didn't go. And it's low for a ball. 2-0. Here's the 2-0. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. It's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 2-2 now. Here's the 2-2. And he's popped this up into right. Right fielder's coming in. He grabs it. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. We go top 5th here in Troy. 8-1 Rockford. New ending means new shout out. Scheme is an amazing Chicago-based streamer. He's played Red Dead Redemption 2, Supermarket Together, Football Manager 26. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Amazingly awesome chill guy. Scheme is our sponsor for today's 5th inning. I'll bring up, it'll be Cap Anson to lead things off. Thank you, sir. You are welcome, my man. Anson is 1 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to him from Harry Wright. That's a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Yeah, I did not take long, did it, Stuart? Here's the 1-0-1. That's high, ball one. Here's the 1-1. That's inside, ball two. 2-1 to count. Here's the pitch. That's lined right back at the pitcher. He's got it. And that will be the first out. That'll bring up George Hall. Hall is currently 0 for 1 with a walk. Here's the pitch from Harry Wright. And he's popped this up. Third baseman's coming in. He makes the grab, and that is the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Ross Barnes. Ross Barnes is 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Here's the first pitch to Barnes. That's below the knees, 1-0. The 1-0. Inside, ball two. 2-0 pitch now. That's fouled into the seats. It'll be 2-1. 2-1 pitch. Grounded foul down the first base side, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. That's lined through the gap into right. And it's a single for Ross Barnes. And he's aboard with 2 outs. I think you're seeing why Troy are 4-11. Harry Wright is pretty much dead tired here too. If that stamina bar doesn't show you that, he has a stamina rating of just 1. The other pitcher, Frank Norton, had a stamina rating of 2. And that's the rotation. That is the starting rotation for for Troy. Right. Lip Pike settles in. Runner on first, 2 down. Here's the first pitch to Pike. And that is a called strike down the center of the plate. The throw over to second, not in time. And Ross Barnes has stolen second base. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded right in front of home plate. The throw onto first is in time, and the side is retired. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 1 aboard. We go to the bottom of the 5th here in Troy. It is still an 8-1 ball game. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Bottom fifth in Troy. It's 8-1 Rockford right now. Bill Lennon will lead things off for the Troy Haymakers. He flied out the left his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to him. He's going to take that for a called strike on the outside part of the plate. That is 0-1. There's the 0-1 pitch. Grounded foul down the third base side. It'll be 0-2. Here's the 0-2. That's in the dirt, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Inside, ball 2. The count is now 2-2. Here's the pitch. He's popped this up in left. That is going to float foul. And we'll do it again at 2-2. The 2-2 now. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. And Lennon is retired. That brings up pitcher Harry Wright. Here's the first pitch to Wright. He takes that inside, ball 1. The 1-0. He's popped this up. That's drifting foul. And that will land foul. The 1-1 pitch. Grounded back up to the mound. Over to first in time. And Wright is retired. That brings up the top of the order and Jimmy Holland, and he's 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch to Holland. And he's flied this in the left. Left fielder coming in. He makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. We go top 6 here at Troy. It's still 8-1 Rockford. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys will be catcher Doug Allison. He is 1 for 2 so far today. Harry Wright still on the mound. Here's the first pitch from Harry Wright. That is fouled down the third base side. It'll be 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. That's 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. And Allison is retired. That'll bring up Joe Start, the first baseman. Start is 1 for 3 today. First pitch to Start. Oh, it's raining. Raining, still raining, still raining, still raining. The rain has stopped. The delay has lasted 39 minutes. Yeah. So that'll bring it. Oh, we have a pitching change off the back of that. So Harry Wright is going to go. What, 1 2/3? No, 1 1/3. No. Yeah, 1 1/3. Wright goes 1 1/3. 1 2/3. He goes 1 2/3. Sorry, because there is one out. It'll be Tony Sager on the mound now. Here's the first pitch to Joe Start from Sager. Swung on and missed. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's lined foul. 0-2, we got the count. Here's the 0-2. That's lined back up the middle, base hit. And starts the board with one out. That'll bring up George Bird. Bird is currently 1 for 2 with 3 RBIs. Here's the first pitch to Bird. He's going to take that for a called strike. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Grounded foul. And it's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Grounded up to second. They go to second for the force, and they get the fielder's choice. 4-6 on the fielder's choice. Start is thrown out at second base, and George Bird will settle into first, but there are 2 down now. That brings up George Wright. He is 1 for 3 so far today. First pitch to him, and that is popped up, and that is in the left field and caught by the left fielder, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. They leave 1 on base. We go middle of the 6th, and it's an 8-1 Rockford lead. We're going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Thank you. Your mic. You know what? Thank you. What's up? What's up, Heindo? Sorry. Now the recording's missed everything, but that's fine. Thank you, Heindo. I appreciate you, man. #pro. Yeah, !pro, Heindo. How are you, my man? It's good. It's good to see you. How's the trial prep going? Always come in if I can, bro. I know, man. I appreciate you so much. Here's the 0-1. That's inside ball 1. I'm fuming. Okay. Did you get the diary suppressed? Did you successfully get that suppressed? Here's the 1-1. That's lined into left. Right at the left fielder. And then he's got that for the second out of the inning. Judge hasn't ruled on the motion yet. Gotcha. Wait. Oh, Kava. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Guys, if you aren't already following him. Oh my God. I can't type. Go follow Cav. He plays a few different games, but his main game is out of the park baseball. He was doing perfect team today. At least I still think he is doing perfect team, but yeah. Go check him out. Really cool, chill streamer. Big shout out to Cava. All because the prosecution weren't ready for the trial. They had months. Oh my goodness me. Right, I got a big sneeze coming, so I don't want to do the next pitch. Hold on. All right. I'm taking a break from RP for a few days before I have a generational crash out. That's all good. That's all good. I meant to ping you about the F1, but I'll ping you tomorrow. Unless you want to talk about it now, we can do that too. I don't really mind. Here's the first pitch to George Hall, who is 1 for 3. That is, oh, it's Dean. Hold on. It's Harry Dean that's in. I'm cool to install 2020 if you are, dude. I am totally cool. Give me tomorrow to install that, and I will do so. I've actually never played 2020. So, you know what the funny thing is? Or you know what the cool thing is? Hanoi is in 2020, and I've never raced there. I'm actually looking forward to it. We got to suck together. We get to suck together. Yeah, we get to absolutely suck together. Right. The substitution, by the way, is left fielder George Hall is coming out. And Harry Dean is taking his place. So, 0-1 to count. Here's the pitch to Harry Dean. And that's grounded right back to the pitching mound. Over to first. That's in time. And the side is retired. Right. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. It's time for a time-honored tradition. Hanoi is very Saudi-esque. Saudi crossed with Singapore. See, I like Singapore, though. Right. We are going to step away. Sector 2 is hellish. Nice. We are going to step away for about 2 minutes. And in the meantime, enjoy this time-honored tradition. It's time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We will be right back. That is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to play ball. We're back. Bottom seventh. And it is an 8-1 game here. Rockford with a commanding lead. And Troy trying to prevent themselves from going 4-12 on the season. Rockford trying to get back into the playoff hunt. Remember, the top team in the American League and the top team in the National League are the two teams that get into the World Series in 1871. There was IRL, there was no World Series in 1870, but that's the way this game goes. What's the biggest blowout you've seen in baseball? I've seen very occasionally, I think there was a game 20 or so years ago. I think it was like the Angels and like the Orioles, or it might have been like the Angels and the Tigers or something. But it was like 20-1 or 21-1 or something like that. So a very occasionally I've seen a few games where 20 runs have been scored by one team, and those are usually the biggest blowouts. So why is baseball so close? Because the randomness of batting, right? So because the bat is round, like 1 inch on where the ball hits could mean the difference from a ground ball to a base hit in the right. You know what I mean? Like it's just so unpredictable. It's just so random, which is why I love it. I really get discouraged sometimes when people are like, oh, I don't really understand. It's just a stupid game, or it's rounders, and it's like, oh, you know, especially when the British tell me, oh, it's just rounders. I'm like, baseball is so much more than that. Like, it is so random and so unpredictable, and so quirky that it's unlike any other sport I think I've ever seen. You know, I would say the same thing about football. I think football is unlike any other sport I've ever seen. Because football is so basic and so pure. But I feel the same way about football. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it is round. It's not though, is it? It's a completely different game. Right, bottom seventh. Joe Simmons is the man in the... Oh, Joe Simmons is going to pinch hit here. So Joe Simmons is the pinch hitter. Seventh. 4, 5. (24-2), yeah. Right. Joe Simmons comes in for Jim Foran. Foran finishes 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch to Simmons. That's off the plate away, 1-0. Halfway through my album for the day. Nice. Here's the 1-0. Check swing, but it's in there for a called strike anyway. It's 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. That's 1-2. Close Vivaldi audio. There we go. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's off the plate away, 2-2. Which team was it that folded after this season? I believe it's Rockford. That's why we're playing it. Football was pure. It still is pure. It's just the governing bodies are not pure. But the sport in and of itself is still very pure. Here's the 2-2. Grounded foul. I agree. I agree on FIFA 100%. Did you see the news, by the way, Heindo? Did you guys see the news, Stuart, as well? Did you guys see the news about the World Cup that came out today? Here's the 2-2. Well, I don't know if it came out today, but I saw it today. That's grounded over to second. That's on to first. That is going to be First out of the inning. I did not. So, you know the fan zones that they do. You know how, like, if you can't afford to go to the game, you can go to, like, the fan zones in person and watch the game on the big outdoor TV and stuff like that? They do them for every World Cup, the FIFA fan zones. So, they had one at Qatar, Sochi, Rio, South Africa. They're charging for the fan zones. Yeah, $12.50 for general admission to the fan zones. Yep. That's the news. The news is that they used to be free to go to, and starting this World Cup, you're going to have to pay $12.50 to get into the fan zones. Yeah, the cheapest. They're not $500, but I know the cheapest group stage game is for me is like $250, $220 maybe. Patty Quinn settling in. He's 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch. That is below the knees, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Check swing. They ask first base. I'm sorry. They ask third base. He says they didn't go, and it's below the knees. It's 2-0. Cheapest Scotland gauge, $480. That's outrageous. Right. Oh, I put that under Harry, right? That was Joe Simmons, that 4-3 to start the inning. Let me just fix that real quick. 4-3. Yeah, nah, it's insane. It's insane. Here's the 2-0 to Patty Quinn. He's fouled that to the backstop. It'll be 2-1. The round of 16 match in Philadelphia is going for $960. So it's actually cheaper for me to fly to England, watch a Premier League game at the London Stadium, and fly home with one night's hotel stay in between than it is to go to the round of 16 in my own backyard. Here's the 2-1, and that's a called strike. It's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. That's shot into right base hit. And Patty Quinn has a base hit. And that is going to be 1 on, 1 out. I would rather I didn't, but go ahead and ask your question anyway, because I don't think you intended to be political, and I'm okay answering it from an objective point of view. So go ahead and ask your question. Here's Clipper Flynn, the right fielder. He is 1 for 2. First pitch to Flynn. He's fouled that into the seats. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Check swing. No throw on the steal of second. Now, is that going to count as a stolen base? Because there's no throw. There's no attempt. Does Patty Quinn have a stolen base? They are not going to credit him with a I'm sorry, that's Joe Simmons. They are not going to credit him with a stolen base because there's no attempt. So it's a check swing. They ask third base. Third base says he swung, and it's 0-2. Here's the 0-2. That is in the dirt, 1-2. Here's the 1-2. That is off the plate away, 2-2. With Venezuela, if that transcends further, do you think the World Cup should be moved? I think the World Cup should have been moved ages ago, not even because of that, but because of the visa problem. Because there are reports that fans of Senegal who want to come to the U.S. to watch the World Cup, Senegalese people who want to come to the U.S. to watch Senegal in the World Cup, are being denied entry by the U.S. Visa Department, or the department that runs U.S. visas, and I think that's a significant problem. They should be allowed to come here to watch their team in the World Cup. Iran is having the same issue. So I think for that alone, that they should have moved the World Cup. I don't really know what's going on with Venezuela because I don't watch the news and I don't pay any attention. Like I tell you, when I tell you I don't pay any attention to the news. I never turn it on. So I don't really know enough about that situation to comment on it. You can call me ignorant for that if you wish. That's fine. I accept that. But I think watching the news for you over here is extremely unhealthy. And so I tend to avoid watching or reading about it altogether. I don't even go on Twitter anymore, which is where I used to get blasted with the news in my face, because I'm on Blue Sky now most of the time. And see, I don't even allow them to send notifications. The only apps that can send notifications to my phone are Twitch and Snapchat. That's it. Those are the only apps I allow to send notifications to my phone. It's Twitch and Snapchat. Everything else does not get, and Discord. Everything else does not get a notification. I don't join any news Discords. I don't care for it. I used to get bombarded with it on Twitter because I followed a ton of like CS professionals and stuff like that, and they would always retweet it or talk about it or post about it. But I don't go on Twitter anymore. I only really go on Twitter to post. I posted one tweet today, and it was like the first non-Go Live tweet that I had tweeted in like a week. So I don't really see it. And when I go on Blue Sky, if somebody retweets or talks about news or posts news, I just mute the account. And I mute the account that they repost, and then if I see that they repost it often, I either unfollow that account or I just mute that account entirely, so I don't see the repost anymore. I do not care for it. I have zero patience for it. So I don't pay attention to it anymore. And yes, I do have your Discord notification. I set up every Discord so that the only notifications that go to my actual phone or that actually ping me in Discord are somebody who directly tags my username. If they tag my username, then I'll actually look at the note. But if they don't tag, if they tag a role or they tag everyone, I don't get it. It's muted. I think it's wild. Yeah, and I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know the extent of what you're talking about because, again, I don't really follow the news. But we are going to leave the conversation there now. So, to be fair, I don't mind having conversations about it. But this stream has had members of chat, not anybody here, but it has had members of chat quickly descend into very venomous behavior. And so I have changed it from you are allowed to talk about it if I invite you to talk about it to we're not talking about it at all. I respect you, so I absolutely would give you the space to say what you wanted to say and ask the questions. And I think they're fair. And I think what you said is fair. And I think you've said it in a respectful manner. But it is now gonna go back to being done and dusted. But that's why I asked first. But I know, and I appreciate you, and I have an implicit trust of you enough not to get it out of hand. So let's go back to baseball's glorified. Fuck off. Right, it's a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. That's grounded over towards second. On to first. That's in time, and that'll be the second out of the inning. Patty Quinn does go to third base, but there's 2 outs now. That's going to bring up Bill Lennon, the catcher. Lennon 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch. That's grounded foul down the third base side. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Off the plate away, 1-1. The 1-1. That's off the plate, 2-1 now. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's grounded back up towards second. On to first in time, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. I'm sorry, no runs, one hit, and one man left on base. We go to the top of the 8th, and it's 8-1 Rockford. Due up first for the Forest Citys will be second baseman Ross Barnes. But first, new inning, new sponsor. Hindo is a fantastic GTA 5 RP player. He also plays Football Manager 26, and he plays a few other cool games. He did Car Dealer Simulator the other day as well. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Hindo, the great Scotsman himself, is our sponsor for tonight's 8th inning. You don't need to shout me out, but of course, my guy. We try to take care of the people that support us, my man. Or at least I try to take care of the people that support me. Right. Ross Barnes settling in. Barnes is 1 for 2 with a single and 2 walks. Pony Sager still on the mound. Here's the first pitch. And that's taken for a called strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. He's lined that into left, but that's foul. It'll be 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. That's high and away, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. That's fouled into the seats. It'll be 1-2. The 1-2. That is lined into center, base hit. And Ross Barnes has got a leadoff single. That's going to bring up right fielder Lip Pike. Pike is 1 for 3 with a walk and a single. Can't wait to belt out our Star Spangled Banner at the first Aggies home game to back at NDP. Wait, what? Explain that to me, because there's context there that I've either forgotten about or that I'm missing. So you guys, the Hamilton Aggies, by the way, got bought out by Morley Sports Group or Sports MSM. So is that is NDP Aggie Stadium name? Oh. The new owners are Yankees. Okay, fair enough. Hey, I'm just glad the club is still operating, you know? And they didn't have to liquidate. Here's the first pitch to Lip Pike. That's taken for a ball. No throw as Barnes takes second base uncontested. Here's the 1-0. That's inside, 2-0. When I seen the news, let me tell you, it was like the weight off my heart. I can imagine, bro. I can imagine. Here's the 2-0. That's inside ball 3, and it gets by the catcher. That is a wild pitch. And Barnes has got third base for free. Here's the 3-0 right down Broad Street, 3-1. These guys are business in Bud. They do own a Wells Club with the same foundational community values as Aggies. So, okay. How long have they owned that Welsh Club? Here's the 3-1. That is popped up, drifting into right field, and that will land foul. It's 3-2. Good few years now. And how's that club done in Wales? Here's the 3-2. That's lined foul down the first base side. 3-2. Check swing. They ask first, or they ask third base. The umpire there says he didn't go, and it's called a ball. And Doug Allison has walked. I'm sorry, Lip Pike has walked for the second time today. That brings up Doug Allison, the catcher. Allison is 1 for 3 today. Hardest part is yeah, yep. Here's the first pitch. That's fouled into the seats. It's 0-1. That comes with the price of admission the moment you say Welsh, to be fair. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded right back. Oh, and it's through. Base hit. And Allison's got himself an RBI single. Going to second is Lip Pike. Coming in to score is Ross Barnes. It's 9-1. Here's the first pitch now to Joe Starr. Oh no, this is the batter is Tom Pratt. He'll take a called strike. It's 0-1. So Start is subbed out for Tom Pratt. And he takes a strike. Got a lot of sponsors. Currently 8th out of 12. Got a lot of sponsors, though. Fair enough. But, like, have they actually... What we'd love to see. Yeah, but have they actually, like, moved up at all? Or is it, like, they just stabilized? Like, they didn't... Like, the owners didn't take them over and they got relegated, right? Here's the 0-1 to Pratt. Check swing. But it's... he didn't go, and it's a ball. It's first and second. Nobody out. Here's the 1-1. That's outside. Oh, and it's going to be get by the catcher. It's another wild pitch. Going to third is Lip Pike. Going to second is Doug Allison. Here's the 2-1. That's lined right back to the shortstop, and that is going to be the first out of the inning. That'll bring up George Bird, center fielder. Bird is currently 1 for 3 today with 3 RBIs. Here's the first pitch to him. He's taking that inside ball 1. The 1-0. High and away, ball 2, and it gets by the catcher. It's another wild pitch. Coming in to score is Lip Pike. Going to third is Doug Allison. And it's 10-1 now. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Lined right at, oh, that is foul. Down the third base side. 2-1 now. I thought the third baseman was going to catch it. Here's the 2-1. That is a called strike. And it is 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That's lined right at the second baseman. That is the second out of the inning. That'll bring up George Wright, the shortstop. Wright is currently 1 for 4 with an RBI. Here's the first pitch to Wright. That's below the knees, 1-0. The 1-0. That is below the knees, 2-0. Formed in 1809, won league in 1856, 1990, resigned from Welsh Prem in 94, came back in 97 after back-to-back promotions, top 6 from 97 to 2001, relegated, now back and cemented mid-table Welsh Prem team. Oh, nice. Oh, 1899, okay. So, yeah, the future might be bright for Hamilton Ackies. I'm just glad you have a club, dude. You know? I don't know how many times over in the UK, especially England, but in the UK, that they let these people take over, and these owners are horrible. You know, Morecambe, Sheffield Wednesday, Portsmouth, Leeds, you know. Bolton's having trouble. Well, Milton Keynes is a different story. You're right. You're still right. But Milton Keynes isn't a we're going bust story, right? Bury is another good example. I know Bolton's having issues. Or is it Reading as well as having issues now too? Like, it shouldn't. And they all have to do a fit and proper test, and yet they still let these buffoons in. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, how are they fit and proper if this is the way they're running the club? Here's the 2-0. That's grounded over to second, and is that an error? That's a single. That's an infield single. And it's an RBI. I don't know why he didn't throw. I guess he couldn't get it out of his glove. But RBI single for George Wright. It's 11-1 Rockford. Northampton and Blackpool I actually don't know anything about, but I know Reading. I know, leave an alert, brother. Appreciate it. I know Reading, Bury, Portsmouth, Leeds, Morecambe. Read up Blackpool story. Absolute madness. All right, I will. I definitely will. I'll be back later if you're going longer than me. I am set to, but as soon as we're done 4 games of baseball, I'm ending stream. So if that's earlier, that's earlier. That's the first pitch. That's off the plate away. I want to know. But yeah, have a great stream, Heindo. I'll leave it. I'll get over there when we take a commercial break, so I can leave a lurk. This is Dick McBride. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Here's the 1-0. A lot of love, big dog. Always, Heindo. Always, man. Is he gone yet? No, he's not gone yet. Here's the 2-0. And that's inside, 3-0. The 3-0 pitch. Inside, ball 4. And Dick McBride has a walk. Going to second base is George Wright. I don't know what that is. And that brings up Cap Anson. Anson's 1 for 5. Here's the first pitch. That is a ball, and it gets by the catcher. It's another wild pitch. Going to third is Wright. Going to second is McBride. Here's the 1-0. Grounded over to third. Can they get there in time? No, it's an infield single. It's another infield single. And it's an RBI from Cap Anson. Coming in to score on the play is George Wright. Going to third is McBride. And it's 12-1. It's going to bring up Harry Dean. First pitch to Dean. Right down the chute, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Inside, ball 1. The 1-1. That's lined into left, foul. The 1-2. He's popped this up. And the catcher's there. He makes the grab, and the side is retired. 4 runs on 4 hits, and they leave 2-1. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and Rockford have jumped out to a 12-1 lead. We're going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. I said I would get Hindo stream up in the intermission, and then I had to use the restroom. So now I got to do it now. So where did I do? This is the only thing I hate about Vivaldi is when I click a tab open. Sometimes it doesn't open it like it's not the next tab in order, and I hate that sometimes, man. Like I want it to be the next tab, you know. I'm sure it's a setting, but I don't know what setting. I haven't figured out what setting it is yet, to be fair. Right. We're back. Bottom eighth. Rockford trailing by a score of 12-1. This one pretty much now only a formality. Although crazier things have happened. We've seen Philly put up 11 in the bottom half of an inning. Same thing required of Rockford here. Dick McBride will take the mound. And leading off is Harry Wright. No, Pony Sager. The pitcher. Harry Wright he came in for Frank Norton, and now Sager's in for Wright. So here's the first pitch to Pony Sager. That's high, ball one. The 1-0. Inside, ball two. 2-0. Here's the 2-0. Below the knees, 3-0. 3-0 to Sager. And he's throwing that outside. It's a 4-pitch walk for Pony Sager. That's not good if you're Dick McBride. That's a terrible way to start an inning. And he's walked the opposing pitcher on 4 pitches. That brings up the top of the order and Jimmy Hallinan, who is 0 for 3. Here's the first pitch to him. And that is on the outside part of the plate for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Inside part of the plate this time, strike 2. And it's 0-2. Here's the 0-2. That is below the knees, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. That is below the knees, 2-2. The 2-2. Popped it up. Shortstop coming in for it. He makes the grab. And that is Hallinan retired. That'll bring up Bill Craver. He is 0 for 3 with an RBI. First pitch to him. That is inside, ball one. The 1-0. Ripped into center, but playable. And center fielder's back there. He makes the catch. And that's 2 down here in the bottom 8th. That brings up Ezra Sutton, who was 1 for 3. First pitch to Sutton is inside, ball one. The 1-0. Grounded over to second. And, it's bobbled. It's bobbled by the second base. He's dropped the ball. And it's an E4. Sager goes to second. Sutton goes to first. And second baseman Ross Barnes gets credited with an error. It's Rockford's third of the afternoon. And it is going to be first and second, 2 away for Fred Tracy, who's 0 for 3. First pitch to Tracy. He'll take a called strike on the outside part of the plate. And it's 0-1. The 0-1 is, I don't know where that missed. Maybe low, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is popped up into left, but drifted foul, and it will land there. The 1-2 is lined right at the shortstop. He's got it, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. They leave 2 on base. We go to the top of the 9th, and Rockford have a 12-1 lead. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys is second baseman Ross Barnes. Barnes is 2 for 3 with 2 walks and an RBI. First pitch to Barnes. Inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Grounded over to second. That is going to be an error on the second baseman. E4 is the scoring decision. That's second baseman Bill Craver who gets credited with the error. And the leadoff runner here in the 9th that's aboard for Rockford. That'll bring up Lip Pike. Pike currently 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Here's the first pitch to Pike. That's off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Off the plate away, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch is low, 3-0. Here's the 3-0. Ball 4, and Pike has got his 3rd walk of the afternoon. Barnes goes to second on the play. That brings up Doug Allison. Allison is 2 for 5 with a pair of RBIs. 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs. Sorry. Here's the first pitch to Allison. Off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Grounded over to first. And it's an error on the first baseman. I don't believe it. They've had 2 opportunities to get outs here and help a pitcher that is very visibly tired. And they're not able to do that. It's Joe Simmons that gets credited with the error that time. And now the bases are loaded. That brings up Tom Pratt. He's 0 for 1. He lined out his first at bat. Here's the first pitch. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Grounded over to first. The throw home is in time. They got him. That is an FC 3-2. So Pratt goes to first. Barnes does not score. Allison goes to third. I'm sorry, Pike goes to third. Allison goes to second. And it's bases loaded with 1 away. That'll bring up George Bird. Bird is currently 1 for 4 with a triple. Here's the pitch to Bird, and he has popped this up. Drifting foul, and it will land foul. Here's the 0-1. Popped up in right at first base. First baseman's there. He makes the grab, and Bird is retired. That brings up George Wright, the shortstop. He's 2 for 5 with a pair of RBIs. First pitch to Wright. That's high, ball 1. That gets way by. That's going to be a wild pitch. Coming in to score is Lip Pike. Allison will go to third. Pratt goes to second. It's 13-1. Here's the 1-0. That's going to get away. It's this time it's on the catcher. That's a pass ball, but coming in to score is Allison. Going to third is Pratt. It's 14-1 now. It's the Simpsons meme. Stop, he's already dead. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's a called strike, 2-1. The 2-1. Low, 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. And Wright's got to walk. That'll bring up Dick McBride. Here's the first pitch to McBride, and that's off the plate away, 1-0. The 1-0. Inside ball 2, and that is a pass ball? Pass ball. And Pratt scores to make it 15-1. Going to second is George Wright. I mean, Tom Pratt got on via an error and got all the way around the bases on pass balls and wild pitches. Here's the 2-0. And that is lined into left, foul. Here's the 2-1. Grounded over to second. The throw one to first. That's in time, and the sign is retired. 3 runs on not a single hit, and they leave one aboard. We go to the bottom of the 9th, and Rockford have a 15-1 lead. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys due up first for the Troy Haymakers will be Joe Simmons. He is currently 0 for 1. We are going to take the final 90-second timeout of the game. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom 9th in Troy. This one all but over. Dick McBride back on the mound. Joe Simmons settles into the batter's box. Here's the first pitch, too. And that one's in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Off the plate away, 1-1. The 1-1. That is grounded back up the middle to second base. On to first in time, and that's the first out of the inning. Simmons retired in the 9th exactly like he was in the 7th, with a 4-3. And now that brings up Patty Quinn. He's 1 for 3. Here's the first pitch to Quinn. And he's going to take that for a called strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Off the plate away, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 now. That's low, 2-1. The 2-1. Swung on and missed. That's 2-2. The 2-2. Inside, ball 3. And the full count pitch. Here it is. He popped it up in foul territory. Third baseman's there, and he makes the grab, and that's 2 down now. That brings up Clipper Flynn. Flynn is 1 for 3. Here's the first pitch to Flynn. Grounded that foul. It'll be 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's off the plate outside, 1-1. The 1-1. That is low, 2-1. I looked in there, but it's low, 2-1. A 2-1 pitch. Off the plate away, 3-1. The 3-1 now. That's lined back into center, but right, and it's over the center fielder's head. This is going to be some serious bases. It could be a triple, and it looks like it is good. No, it's a double. It's only a double, but now you say only a double. It's well hit, and Clipper Flynn's got his second knock of the afternoon. He is in second base with a double. That'll bring up Bill Lennon, the catcher. He's 0 for 3 today. Here's the first pitch, and he has shot this into left. It's back. It's deep. It's one hop off the wall. It's runs for Troy. And Bill Lennon has got himself an RBI triple. Coming in the score is Clipper Flynn, and this is 15-2. Is done, and the ink is drying. My dinner's on the stove. Laundry is in the process. Sounds good, Stuart. Sounds great. Here is Pony Sager, who walked his last at bat. Here's the first pitch. That's in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. That's a productive Sunday is what we call that. Here's the 0-1. That's inside, ball 1. A very productive Sunday. Here's the 1-1. And he's popped this up into the seats. It's 1-2. Troy are down to their final strike. Here's the 1-2. Inside, 2-2. The 2-2. Grounded back up towards second. On to first in time. And the ball game is over. The struggles for Troy continue as they host the Rockford Forest Citys and get absolutely blown out. The final score in this one, Rockford 15 and Troy 2. Here are your statistics for the Rockford Forest Citys. Cap Anson finished with 6 at-bats. He had 2 hits, 1 RBI. He scored 1 run. He made 1 fielding error. George Hall finished with 3 at-bats. He finished with 2 at-bats, George Hall. He did not have a hit. He had 1 run. He had 1 sack bunt, and he had a base on balls. Ross Barnes, he had 4 at-bats. He scored 2 runs. He stole 1 base. He had an RBI. He drew 2 base on balls. And he made a fielding error. Lip Pike had 3 at-bats. He scored 1 hit. He scored 3 runs. He also drew 3 base on balls. Doug Allison, 5 at-bats for him. He had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 3 runs. He struck out once. He was also hit by the pitch. Joe Start, 4 at-bats, 2 hits, 2 runs. George Bird, 5 at-bats, 1 hit. It was a triple. It brought in 3. He had 3 RBIs. He also had 1 sack. And he scored a run. George Wright, 5 at-bats, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. Sorry, 1 run. 1 run. 1 run. And he drew a base on balls, and he made a fielding error. Dick McBride, 4 at-bats, no hits, 2 base on balls. Harry Dean, 2 at-bats, no hits. Tom Pratt, 2 at-bats, no hits, 1 run. Final batting statistics for the Rockford Forest Citys. 6 and 2 is 8, 12, 15, 20, 4, 9, 34, 38, 40, 42 at-bats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 runs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 hits. No, 12. Where am I missing a hit? I'm missing a few hits. So, I'm missing 2 hits. I have 2 hits for... I have 2 hits for him. I have 1 hit for him. I have 2 hits for him. I have... hold on. I have... Anson has 2 hits. That's what I've got. That's correct. Hall, I don't have any hits for. That's correct. Dean, I don't have any hits for. That's correct. Barnes, I have... Oh, I forgot to put Barnes' hit in there. That's why he's got 1 hit. No, he's got 2 hits. That's the 2 hits. That's the 2 hits. So that's 12 hits. I have no doubles, but 1 triple. Fielding errors 1, 2, 3. Strikeouts 1. Stolen bases 1. Sacrifice bunts 2. RBIs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 RBIs. And then base on balls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 walks they drew. Wow. And okay, so there you have it. Right. We'll go back to the pictures in a minute. For the Troy Haymakers, Jimmy Hallinan, 4 at-bats, no hits, 1 run, 1 stolen base. Bill Craver, 4 at-bats, no hits, 1 RBI, 1 fielding error. Ezra Sutton, 4 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 stolen base, 2 fielding errors. Fred Tracy, 4 at-bats, no hits, 1 fielding error. Jim Foran, 2 at-bats, no hits, 1 fielding error. Patty Quinn, 4 at-bats, 1 hit. Clipper Flynn, 4 at-bats, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 double. Bill Lennon, 4 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 triple, 1 RBI, and 1 strikeout. Frank Norton, 1 at-bat, no hit. Harry Wright, 1 at-bat, no hit. Joe Simmons, 2 at-bats, no hit. Pony Sager, 1 at-bat, no hit, walk. And Joe Simmons also committed a fielding error. Total at-bats for the Troy Haymakers: 4, 8, 12, 16, 18, 22, 26, 40. I'm sorry, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35 at-bats. Hits, or runs, 2. Hits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. Yep. Man, they made more errors than hits. That's abysmal. Fielding errors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I just wrote that under base on balls. That's 6 fielding errors, 1 base on balls, 1 double, 1 triple, 2 RBIs, no sacrifice plays, 1 stolen base. That was for Jimmy Hallinan. So, I'm sorry, Ezra Sutton had a stolen base as well. So, 2 stolen bases, 2 strikeouts. Is that correct? No, 1 strikeout. Just the 1 strikeout. And there you go. Right, the pitching statistics now. Dick McBride pitched all 9 innings. I have his pitch count 145. That's correct. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 5 hits, 2 runs, one of them earned. He gets credited for the win as well, so McBride will go to 7 and 8. Now this is what I need help with. Norton goes 3 and 2. He gets credit with the loss. He goes 3 and 2/3. I have his pitch count 71. 5 walks, no strikeouts, 5 hits, 8 runs, and 5 of them were earned. Harry Wright, I have 1 2/3 innings. I have his pitch count at 25. 24. Sorry, I forgot. Okay, 24. Because the rain delay, they swapped him out during the rain delay, and I had marked the rain delay. I didn't expect the rain delay, so I marked it. So 24. Walks none, struck out 1, hits 2, no runs, no earned. And then Pony Seager went 3, right? 3.2. He had Ivis pitch count 73. Yep. Walked 4. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm missing a walk on the Rockford. No, I'm not. That's correct. 9 walks. 9 walks. He struck out nobody. Yeah. Hits 5, runs 7, earned 4. And there you have it. Right. 15-2 the final. We're going to immediately save the game. Other matches. The Philadelphia Athletics get by the New York Mutuals. It took 10 innings to do so. But a 2-run top of the 10th secures the win for Philadelphia. They moved 9-6. New York dropped to 4-7. And elsewhere, the Chicago White Stockings ran out a 9-4 decision against the Washington Olympics. So, unfortunately, we didn't gain any ground on Chicago. The White Stockings moved to 8-4. The Washington Olympics become 7-9. We're going to finish today. The next game that you guys get to pick. You guys get to pick this game. It is coming up today. So we're going to manage the poll. We're going to do a new poll. Boston at Troy or Washington. It's been a long time since we've done Boston. But I'll let you pick. Which game do we do next? I'm actually going to leave that poll up for 10 minutes this time. So you get to pick which game we're going to cover next right now. Either Boston 9-2 at 4-13 Troy, or 7-9 Washington, who only have 1 win on the road, at 7-5 Cleveland, who have a winning record at home. That's what you're going to get to pick right now. That is June the 23rd. And then we finish tonight with Rockford at Fort Wayne. Let's check the standings right now. Boston still leads the American League by 2 games with a 9-2 record. Philadelphia is 2 games back at 9-6. Cleveland are 7-5 at 2.5 games back. Washington Olympics 7-9. They are 4.5 games back. The Chicago White Stockings moved to 8-2. Moved to 8-4. They lead the National League by 2 games over the 6-6 Fort Wayne Kekiungas. Rockford have moved to 8-10. They are 3 games back. The New York Mutuals loss puts them at 4-7. They are 3.5 back. The Troy Haymakers are dead and buried. They are 4-13. They are 6.5 games back, and they only have 15 to play in their season. So they are looking very much dead and buried. That is going to do it from us on the YouTube recording. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you for the next one. Until then, Take care.